Today's video is sponsored by Squarespace. Prosumer video switches have always been frustrating for me. There's usually some compromise somewhere, but I live with it because the less compromising options are usually not priced for individuals to buy. This RØDECaster video, however, is a bit of a paradigm shift. Now, Rode has never made a video switching product before, and when it's a company's first product in a new category, we tend to go easy on it, ignore some first-generation flaws. But I'll go ahead and say that this is incredibly well-designed and full-featured, and not just by first-gen standards. The RØDECaster video is up there, and in many ways better than a lot of everything else that's been around. Somehow, they've still made it extremely portable, but the size, along with that non-overwhelming interface, actually disguises how insane this piece of hardware is. You get a hint of that insanity when you look at the I/Os on the back, and that doesn't even say anything about software yet. There is so much to unpack, but in short, what this can be is a live HDMI video switcher, recorder, USB interface, and a live stream console. I'd first like to show you what I'm looking at, and it's two things. I've got the RØDECaster video console right here in front of me, and I'm also looking at a multi-view being output from one of its two HDMI outputs. This bottom row of buttons here correspond to my video inputs 1 to 6. You can have up to 4 HDMI inputs and 2 more USB webcam inputs. It is possible to reroute the physical inputs assigned to each button in software, and in the multi-view, which is one of the best laid out multi-views I've ever seen, you get live monitoring for all your inputs. So here I've got my A cam, B cam, overhead cam, and computer input, which just so happens to be on Squarespace Blueprint. It's an incredibly powerful guided design tool to help you come up with a catchy website design using the help of AI. Unlike choosing from a template, this gives you a completely personalized design, from color schemes to fonts, and it even lets you tailor the tone of the copywriting that's generated. Your website is automatically optimized for every device. It's also got powerful SEO tools built in to help your site show up more often to more people and in exactly the way you want. Of course, you may want to further customize your site down the line, and with Squarespace's next-gen website editor called Fluid Engine, you can intuitively customize every little design detail with drag and drop technology for both desktop and mobile. With your Squarespace website, you can sell anything from products to content to time. Payments are flexible and seamless for your customers, letting you accept credit cards, PayPal, and Apple Pay, or even offer the option to pay later with Afterpay and ClearPay in eligible countries. Head on over to squarespace.com for a free trial, and when you're ready to launch, go to squarespace.com/zycheng to save 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. Above my lineup of inputs would be my scenes, and these would correspond to the row of buttons labeled A to G here on my RØDECaster video. These scenes are essentially layout presets, which I've set up beforehand. Typically, they would be a combination of inputs, for example, a picture-in-picture layout, which gets activated once I select it. But this particular row of buttons actually serves more than just one purpose. If I press this media button here, then it toggles my top row into sort of a media drawer. This gets reflected in the multi-view as well, so I can reference exactly what each button does. Pressing on any of these will trigger playback for any videos or sounds I've assigned to that slot. Now, if I cut back to myself here, this second button here triggers this row of button to become overlays. And those would typically be static PNG images, like this overlay here, or who put that there? But this third button from the top here sets up picture-in-picture. So if I press that, you can see it's set camera 1 as the main video, and the picture-in-picture, I can then select, say, camera 3, and that would set up my picture-in-picture with the overhead camera superimposed against my main talking head. And that last button toggles green or blue screen keying. We've got that touchscreen plus encoder where we'll be able to change and dial in most of our settings from. Volume dial towards the right of it for audio monitoring. Then these buttons down here select between hard cut switching, which is very straightforward. It's a hard cut. Or if you press auto, you can switch with the selected transition. So right now it's set to crossfade. You can customize which transitions you want from the touchscreen here. There's 3 usual suspects: fade, dip, and wipe, then it goes back to fade. You are able to change the duration of the transition, however. Then this button with the eye on it is the inspect button, and this is one of my favorite features on the RØDECaster video. If you're on instant switching mode, meaning the moment you press an input or scene button, it cuts right to it, the inspect mode lets you have a closer look at another input or scene without actually cutting to it. It's just a preview. As an alternative, there is also the more traditional studio switching mode. And in this mode, let me go ahead and set that up. So it's in settings, video, switching, then we'll go over to studio. When we're in this mode, selecting any input would only load it up on the preview monitor, and you would have to press the cut or auto buttons to actually make the switch. But what if I told you, you don't even need to physically be at the console to operate it. You can actually do more from a computer running Rode Central. The RØDECaster video connects to the internet via Wi-Fi or Ethernet, and the moment I fire up Rode Central here on my MacBook, because I'm on the same network, I can already see my RØDECaster video, and this is all completely wireless. You could also do this over a USB connection as well, but point is, doing it wirelessly requires basically no setup, so it's the path of least resistance for me. Once I'm here, I can go to the scene builder, which is essentially your remote interface for the console. From here, I can actually perform cuts completely wirelessly. I can switch to scenes. Everything I can do physically on the console, I can also do here from within Rode Central. And I can also build custom scenes. It's actually a lot more intuitive to build scenes here, because if I were to do this from just a console, I would only be able to perform very basic preset picture-in-pictures. So let me go ahead and set up a custom scene here. It starts off completely blank because I have to right-click and select a media. I'll start with camera 1, and I'll do a picture-in-picture where I have both my A and B camera up here together. Again, it can be a mix of camera angles as well as some media. So let's do a reaction video to this video here. I can scale these. I will select my other camera angles. I can actually crop them as well. So if I grab this here, grab this here. This is really crude. I would line these up properly, but down we go. And say that's set up. And I'll commit that as scene C. So every time I hit scene C here on my RØDECaster video, it will load up the video and my two angles here. It's also here where I can assign media to the media drawer. So how it works is simply dragging and dropping a media clip to the drawer, and now button G corresponds to this. Currently, the only way to load external media onto the RØDECaster video is through Rode Central. Once you upload the media onto the RØDECaster video, it gets stored on the local micro SD card, so it stays even if you power cycle the RØDECaster video. Rode Central is also a much more spacious user interface to change the RØDECaster video settings. For example, here under device configuration, I can change the output type for its two HDMI out ports. Something really neat about the two HDMI outs you get on the RØDECaster video is neither have a fixed output. Both can be either a multi-view or a program out. If you happen to be in studio switching mode, which I can also toggle over here, you even get the option to assign an output to be a full screen preview monitor. Now, I tried accessing Rode Central for the same RØDECaster video from multiple computers, and it seemed to work just fine. So here I'm accessing it on two laptops, and every action is synced across all the devices. And I would say this is particularly helpful for, say, assigning one remote operator to work solely on the audio mix, because there's a tab that is essentially the audio mixer. Considering there's no physical faders on the RØDECaster video, you can still change the volumes, but it takes a few button presses. So this is the closest thing you get to a full mixer panel, and it's here in Rode Central. And you could have one side monitoring the scene builder and the other sides here on the audio mixer. That being said, in typical RØDECaster fashion, the level of attention given to audio is way beyond any competing video switcher. You get two XLR combo inputs with the excellent Revolution preamps, you get Aphex processing, and it's the full suite which is on par with what you would get on a RØDECaster Pro or RØDECaster Duo. Let me go ahead and reset this because I want to take you over here and show you that you can even get custom submixers for each and every one of your audio output channels. But there is one more reason to have your entire audio setup through the RØDECaster Video, and it's easily one of the best, most helpful features on this machine, and that's automatic switching. Let me show you. I'll head on over to the auto switching window, and by linking any audio input to any video input or scene, in this case my main camera is linked to my XLR combo input, and my B camera is linked to a Rode Wireless Pro, which is a very good reminder for myself that I actually have it turned down because I wasn't using it earlier on in the video. So here's a demo of what it's like to fade up a fader using the virtual fader and encoder combo over here in the RØDECaster Video. So I'll turn it up to right around there. And once I have this set up, the RØDECaster Video can automatically switch to whoever's talking. It's enabled by pressing and holding the auto button until it turns blue, and I'll then pass this microphone over to my intern, so it then cuts to a shot of him every time he speaks. So say hello.
Hello. It should cut to me. Hello, everyone.
Do you want to tell the internet your name, or do you want to stay incognito?
Oh, I've already told them.
Oh, you just told them your name?
Yeah, I just told them my name. Hi, I'm Nicholas, the intern.
So this is Nicholas, the intern, for now. What do you have for lunch?
What do you mean for now?
For now. It'll make a bit more sense later.
It'll make a bit more sense later.
For now.
I had a Subway for lunch.
That wasn't a threat or anything. You know, most interns don't stay interns for very long, you know. Like, it's supposed to be an upgrade. You had Subway for lunch. You had lunch on the Subway, or...
Well, I wish I had a whole Subway for lunch. The whole Subway.
The whole train. This is so weird. This needs a overlay to commemorate that. There we go. So right now, because I've touched the console, the auto switching would turn itself off. The moment you engage a switch, it turns itself off. So let me go ahead and press and hold auto, so we turn it back on. Oh no, now the overlay's stuck there. Do you think we should leave it there? I think we should leave it there.
Leave it there.
We should probably leave it there. There's also another feature there. I'm gonna have to disengage it again because I want to show it there. That's very distracting. Let me make that go away. You can see there is a setting for priority. Right now, Nicholas is set to medium and I'm set to high. To give it a more obvious effect, I'll set Nicholas's mic, which is the Wireless Pro, to low, and I'm on high, and let's go back into auto switching. So what this does is, say, if Nicholas was to talk over me as I'm telling this to you right now, somehow it's still going back to him, but if I speak and he just tries to talk over me, it's very audio level, so make sure you have your gains all sorted out. But if he tries to talk over me, he can't get the angle away from me. He cannot steal the attention away. But if I were to pause talking and then he begins talking,
and then I start talking now.
So this would be something like if you were in a podcast and you were set the host to high priority. So if there's multiple angles talking together at the same time, then there would be a priority list. The ones higher up in the priority will get cut to first. So thank you so much, Nicholas.
Thank you very much for having me. Look, auto switching is working.
I'll go back to manual switching. So the thing about automatic switching is this is the sort of functionality which one would typically need to hire a human operator for. So before my intern starts feeling insecure about this machine putting his job at risk, I'll end today's review with a number of additional things to know about the RØDECaster Video. The videos you load onto the RØDECaster Pro as media need to be MP4 files, precisely 1920 by 1080 pixels. Stills also cannot be taller than 1080 pixels. There's currently no way to transition overlays in. They can only appear or disappear. The RØDECaster Video can natively pair to Rode's Series 4 wireless microphones. Absolute win. It is possible to record in multi-track ISO mode to an SSD over USB Type-C, meaning it records the uncut feed of all 6 inputs as 6 separate video files, and this is on top of your live program recording. This is limited to 30 frames per second, however, although multi-track recording can also be enabled for audio with the option for pre-fader levels or even bypass the DSP completely. There's currently only green or blue screen chroma keying. No option for Luma key for some reason. The RØDECaster videos got its own internal fan for active cooling, and you can also check its temperature from its status menu. By entering your stream server in Stream Key in Rode Central, you can start a live stream directly from the RØDECaster video. Compared to something like the Blackmagic A10 Minis, I'm having a really strong preference towards the RØDECaster video in terms of what's possible with it once you set it up as a standalone device. I can't get enough of how neat the multi-view layout is, and I also couldn't believe how easy it was to get it working wirelessly with Rode Central. Unlike the software control for the Blackmagic ATEMs, which can be super confusing for beginners, I find the Rode Central interface to be more intuitive by a huge margin. I can't say I saw this product coming from Rode at all, and that's not the only way it's exceeded my expectations. It really is quite the full package, and I'll drop links below for anyone interested, and I'll see you around.